Chaque semaine, l'extra interview replonge une personnalité dans ses souvenirs cinéma et séries. Aujourd'hui, nous rencontrons l'homme derrière l'un des plus grands tubes de ces dernières années, l'obsédante Ho Hey avec ses quelques 248 millions d'écoutes sur Internet. Wesley Schultz, chanteur tout en émotion et en douceur de The Lumineers, nous parle de son amour pour les films à la mythologie unique comme The Revenant et des personnages complexes qui peuplent les séries à l'image de Tony Soprano. Un anti-héros qui a vraisemblablement inspiré son écriture.
I was wondering in any way if watching movies and television was a way for you to learn how to write, maybe without knowing it.
Yeah, I think what I learned through something like cinema was that the most frightening of villains were the ones that, you know, had this soft side to them.
Yeah.
Because it was easier to make someone black and white wrong, and that was safer. But when someone was nice, I think that's why The Sopranos were such a successful show and really, I think, haunted people because they realized he led this double life and he was really a good guy in some ways and a really terrible person in other ways. So I think when I write, I try not to be the characters in the songs. I would never want them to be polarized, good or bad, but have this sort of quality about them where no one's really a good guy or a bad guy.
And you've decided to put an actress on the cover of your new
Theda
album?
Bara, yeah.
How comes?
And when I saw this photograph, it literally kind of stopped me and grabbed me, and I had to know more about who is this person. And it's from 1917, and the movie itself, Cleopatra, was a silent film that was burned in a fire at the Fox Studios. So it's gone now. I think 20 or 30 seconds of it still exists. So it's kind of this mysterious, you know, lost film, they call it. And she was so popular, you know, she was at this height of popularity. And then, you know, silent film era ended, and then sound came in, and then she kind of fell into more obscurity.
And there is this video from this album called Ophelia, and I watched it and I found it very cinematographical. There was this thing that reminded me of Mummy, the movie of Xavier Dolan, where you have a square screen and then the walls open and you have a full screen.
Yeah, it was the director Isaac Ravishankara, his idea. I think when I described to him what it felt like to tour that long for 3 years on the same music on one album, it feels like you're in this box.
Yeah.
And so escaping that in a physical form was to, expand the frame.
And also, there was a sense of a musical, like old school musical, singing in the rain thing.
And the idea was to sort of, Gene Kelly, kind of like Dancing in the Rain. The idea was, to not be at all a professional, you know, to have an innocence about it, have a vulnerability, which wasn't that hard because I'm not a great dancer, so I had to learn all these steps. So there was this, I don't quite know what I'm doing, but I'm sort of
there is this
still
childish side of it, like walking in the water, on the floor and stuff like that.
Just like an innocence that I think he captured.
There was another video that I watched that reminded me of a movie, it's Stubborn Love, which made me think of boyhood.
When we were young, oh, we didn't know. When it got cold, ooh, we bundled up. I can't be told, I can't be done.
You have this little girl looking at the window and kind of seeing your life in a way. If you were in that car and looking by the window and seeing the movies of your life, what would you see?
American Beauty, I remember seeing that 3 times in the movie theater. I was so just moved by it and didn't really know what to make of it, but I knew there was something special there. So American Beauty is like really high on the list. I just saw The Revenant this past year, and I think that's one of my favorite movies I've ever seen of all time. So just beautiful and storytelling and kind of almost, it's supposed to be unrealistic. It's supposed to be almost dreamlike. The things that he's doing, no one really could survive. Being in a river and then just, but you accept that. It's almost like it has its own mythology to it. My favorite albums, they set the ground rules. As you listen further in, you understand their rules and their whole mythology and their world that you're living in. And I like when movies do that too. Like no movie is kind of like that, but that you somehow just understand it after a little while. You understand where the the director or the writer is coming from. It's hard to do, but some special artists and visionaries can do it.
You talk about American Beauty, that was written by Alan Ball, who did afterwards 6 Feet Under.
Yeah, totally.
So is it this kind of TV show that you love? This is
I
very
really like that.
slow-paced and...
Yeah, maybe. It has more a slow build. I like The Wire a lot. But I also like stuff that's a little more light, you know, like fast, you know,
Yeah.
like, it just depends on the mood I'm in. I've been watching House of Cards,
Yeah.
Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones, I think, tends to hit every mark. You know, it's kind of like they have the interesting plots, good actors, sex, drugs, maybe not rock and roll, but they have almost everything, you know, and no one's safe from getting offed, which is I feel like pretty unique to that show.
And your band is very much loved by TV series.
I don't know where I belong. I don't know where I went wrong. I can write a song. I belong for you. You belong for me. You're my sweetheart. I belong for you. You belong for me. You're my sweetheart.
Is it a way for you to rediscover your songs when you see what writers or directors imagine being played on your song and you see characters do stuff you hadn't thought about?
Yeah, I think music is so malleable, so it's a way to reinterpret what it could potentially mean to someone else. That to me is it sounds strange to say because I'm writing the lyrics, but it's just as valid. It's like once you write it down, it doesn't matter what my intentions were, it's out there and it's meant to provoke. And if it provokes something in you, that's real to you. So when you see it used in a scene, like Oh Hey was a breakup song, basically, and a sad song, but it became used in a positive way or at people's weddings or things like that. It's kind of theirs now, and it's like out in the world. You know, your baby's free.
Yeah, it's true.
So I welcome that. I think it's pretty cool.
The Lumineers sera de retour à Paris en novembre pour un concert à la salle Playel et en attendant, nous, on écoute Cléopatra en chantonnant.